Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the NF Audio RA05 or RA05. You can see this one's got a Type-C connector on it and it uses a micro dynamic driver, so I'm quite curious to see what that's like. And yeah, as usual, full disclaimers, I'd like to thank NF Audio themselves for sending it out to me, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video and all thoughts and opinions are my own. And it's been a while since I've tried an NF Audio product, and I do have a couple more from them to try. Obviously they'll be in separate videos, and yeah, let's just get into it. So let's see what you get. So obviously it's got controls of some sort, which we'll find out. So a little bit of information on the side. So you get the earphones, obviously a storage bag, a user guide, a bunch of tips. So it says 8. So specs. So it says 6mm high magnetic micro dynamic driver, 102 decibel sensitivity, which is a little low, which we'll see what it's like. Again, not a problem if it's Type-C based, which we'll see. 16 ohm pins, which is relatively normal. It says 3.5mm here, so I'm quite curious to see what that's like when it's Type-C. Might be separated, we'll find out. Again, I've not tried these yet, so that's what they look like. What's in here? Cable. Oops. So let's separate this a bit. The tips. You'll see what the bore's like on those. Really soft carry case or pouch. User guide, which will probably be comment sense, and actually controls. So it's actually got volume and play and pause, and you can do next track, previous track, obviously end and answer calls, so that's pretty cool. It's got 3 buttons. You can change the filters. I don't know if there's any in the packaging. Obviously look after your ears, basically don't listen to too long and particular volumes. I don't think it comes, so it just comes with some spare filters. That's good to see, and like some what Moondrop do. I'll wiggle this out through this hole in a bit. So what's it? Type-C. He did say 3.5, but that's probably just a typo. I think there might be a 3.5 version. Let's get one of these out. These are very small, as you can see. Attached cable, and there's the driver. And that's it. There's the dampener just in there. Yeah. No idea what these are like, so yeah, obviously I'm going to spend a bunch of time with them. Obviously it's Type-C only, and obviously there's plenty of tips here, so yeah, I'll see you sometime in the near future. So welcome to my review section of the NF Audio RA05, and yeah, so let's just get into what it looks like. So obviously it's a fixed cable, so Type-C, and the cable is actually pretty good. So Type-C, as you can see there, up to the Y split. There's the branding, as you can see, NF. And it's got a chin slider, which is actually fairly stiff, which is pretty good. And obviously you got the earphones themselves, which are these are really small, as you can see. Obviously I'll talk about the fit in a bit. Attached cable, which is probably one of the negatives about this. And again here, and that's a 6mm dynamic driver, micro driver they call it. And the controls, so you can see there's a mic on the back that does play, pause, and you got volume up and down. You can do, if you do multiple steps, you can do next track, previous track, but it's all on there, and that's on the right unit. Yes, so let's just get into the comfort on these. I found these very good, very secure. As you can see, these things are tiny. It's a very deep fit in a way, because this unit's really small. No issues at all, very secure unit. And in there, I'll just take one tip off. Should do it, and you can just see one of the filters, or what you want to call it, is replaceable, just right there. So the comfort and the fit on this is pretty good, and I guess build quality, even though it's all plastic. If it focus, yeah, seems fine. Like I had no issues with it at all. Okay, so power and sensitivity. Now, obviously, this is USB-C powered. But it seemed to have to use more volume to get the same kind of higher volume than normal. It seems like. So my phone had to crank it at least 70%, That's obviously using those separate apps just to get the kind of level. Also, it works. This works in Windows. So when I plugged it, I tried it with Windows 10, and you can do 24-bit. I think 96 kilohertz. I think from memory, which is pretty good. So I don't know what DAC chip they've used, which seems sufficient. And also with Windows, this thing was maxed out 100%. So make sure you lower it before you play anything, because otherwise it's too loud. Like soundstage and imaging, to me, it didn't really sound very big. Imaging was pretty good on this set though. So timbre on this set was okay, and that's all I can say really. Technicalities on this set also was decent. Isolation on this set was very good as well. Just blitz through all these. I'm trying to think. So yeah, so Type C. It said on the back 3.5. I think that might just be a typo, but it's only Type C. Obviously, I've used this with my computer, Windows 10, and my phone, which is that Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro, I think the model is. And yeah, so let's pull the graph up, shall we? And we can have a look. So, bass on this set, you can see that there's that little dip. So when I first started using these, I thought something sounds a little soft in the low end. I thought that sounds kind of odd. Then again, as usual, I do graph it afterwards. So I thought some of the bass seems pretty solid, but on some initial bits it seems a bit soft. So when I graphed it, now I know why there's that dip in the lower mid-range, mid-bass area, shall we say. So yeah, apart from that, it's a bit soft, but again, you can always EQ that back up, so it's not a big deal really. But low end, the DD seems fine. It's not a bass monster or nothing like that. Yeah, and that's it. Again, it's a small DD, so for that much bass, it's not too bad. Mid range, as you can see, it is forward, especially for female vocals. This is a set really for female vocals, more than male really. But mid range, apart from that, was I thought very clear. It's straightforward. It is forward, as you can probably imagine on the graph. But yeah, it's fine. Mid range is actually fine. If you want forward mids, you've got them. Treble. Now mine is a little bit of an imbalance in the treble. I didn't really notice that in its use case. I also didn't notice that 15k peak. But bear in mind with these couplers, I think beyond 8, 10k, like past that, they're not really accurate. So just take it with a grain of salt. That high up the frequency response. But yeah, treble on this set is personally what I like. So really like at 2k, I like to start to roll it off there. I found this set kind of bright, a little bit of sibilant. Detailed set though because of his brightness, so it's kind of a trade-off. Same with like imaging, because it's a brighter set. I think it helps positioning, but I didn't really try it with much gaming at all. I don't really play many games at the moment, but definitely a brighter set. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, so I saw no graphs at all when I did listen to this. But yeah, trebles detailed, vocals are really, really good. The instrument separation seems good. Personally for me, it's a bit brighter than what I prefer. That's obviously my preference. Like I said, it should start to smooth off at 2k. Not too much because you want detail, just to stop fatigue really. So this is a set I found was better at a lower volume. Plus they do isolate really well, which is not a problem. So you don't really have to worry about turning stuff volume up to block sound out. It already blocks it out, to be honest, really good from what I could tell. And yeah, not much to say really. So conclusion, what do I think of the RA05s? They're not a bad set, just personally not for me. So what I don't like is a hardwired connection, and it has to be Type C only, if that matters. But the cables are attached and that's it. Tuning is not for me. I don't like that lower mids dip and kind of the brighter treble. But obviously the trade-off of that, it's a detailed set. Probably might be fairly good for monitoring because of how well it isolates and the brightness in the upper mid-range and the treble. So it'd be more precise for your work is probably my guess. But for me, it's probably a bit too bright. And yeah, I prefer a detachable cable because if it breaks, you can just swap it. And the bass seems a little bit off for me. But on the whole, these are not a bad set. It's just not for me. I am unsure of the price at the moment. I don't know what the cost of these is, but I do like that it's actually got a controller that actually does all the functions you need, and it's got a mic. I did not test a microphone at this time. Obviously the DAC they've used seems fine, up to 24-bit 96 kHz. I think for the microphone part it does 16-bit 48 kHz from memory. Cable's decent, comes with decent tips, as you can see, these type of tips here. Comes with, I think, 4 pairs from memory, as you just saw in the previous clip. Yeah, so on the whole, it's an okay set. It just didn't really blow me away. I guess maybe that's the limits of a small DD, but the benefit of that, it's a very detailed set for my testing, and that's it. So it's a decent enough set. It's just personally not my cup of tea. And I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.